It all began with the faint, unmistakable smell of gas, the kind that crawls into your senses and sets off every alarm bell in your body. For Tina Shavers, it wasn't just a smell, it was a warning. A warning that the little studio she had just rented with hope and hard-earned money was far from the safe. Cozy home, she imagined. Tina had found the place after weeks of searching, a small studio on the side of a house owned by a man named Mr. Mejia and his wife. It wasn't fancy, but it was supposed to be hers. 3 small rooms, a kitchen area, a living bedroom, and a bathroom, all tucked behind a patio door that served as her private entrance. The moment she saw it in April, it looked clean enough, lived in but acceptable, and she was desperate to start fresh. So she paid them everything they asked for. First month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, all adding up to $2,238. That was a big chunk of money, but Tina believed it would be worth it. Safety, stability, a fresh start. That's what she thought she was buying. She moved in on May 5th, the day she brought her clothes, her books, her laptop, and her hope. But by May 6th, just one day later, she smelled gas. Not a mild whiff, not a temporary odor. It was thick, heavy, and dangerous. She immediately called Mr. Mejia, who came by and fiddled with the oven. He said the pilot light had gone out and turned it back on, assuring her everything was fine. For a brief moment, she wanted to believe him. After all, accidents happen, right? But then it happened again. Just 2 days later, the smell returned, stronger than before. The kind of smell that makes you stop breathing, makes your mind flash through every story you've ever heard about explosions, fires, and families who never made it out. Tina didn't need convincing. She packed her things and got out, fast. In total, she lived there for 5 days. 5 days of fear, headaches, and sleepless nights. And when she left, she expected her money back. After all, who would stay in a place that could have blown up at any moment? But when she asked, the landlords offered her only a fraction, $600 back from the $2,438 she paid. They claimed she caused damages, scratched walls, and left the bathroom dirty. Tina couldn't believe it. She hadn't even been there long enough to unpack properly, let alone damage anything. So like many wronged tenants before her, she took them to court, specifically to Judge Judy. The courtroom was quiet when the case began. Judge Judy, sharp as ever, didn't waste time with small talk. "Folks, have a seat," she said, scanning the room with that trademark no-nonsense stare. Then she turned to Tina. "Ms. Shavers, you rented premises from the defendants. You paid a lot of money up front, over $2,400, is that correct?" Tina nodded. "And according to you, you were forced to move out because of gas leaks." "Yes," Tina said firmly. That one word set the tone. The defendants, Mr. and Mrs. Mejia, sat stiffly, arms folded, trying to look innocent. But Judy wasn't fooled. As the story unfolded, every contradiction made them squirm. First, they claimed the place was safe. Then, when pressed, they admitted they smelled gas too, but only in the rented part, not in their own home. Judy's eyebrows shot up. "So the gas smell is only in her part of the house? The part she paid for?" "Yes," Mr. Mejia replied meekly. That was all the judge needed. She leaned forward, her voice rising with the kind of authority that silences a room. "You did not provide a clean, safe environment. Nobody wants to live with gas leaks. Nobody." The landlords tried to interrupt, a big mistake. "But, Your Honor, it was an accident. I don't give a rat's behind if it was an accident." Judge Judy snapped. "It's your accident, not hers." Every sentence she spoke landed like a hammer. The Mejias fumbled through excuses about pilot lights, repairs, and taking care of it right away, but Judy wasn't buying any of it. She painted a picture that everyone in that courtroom could feel. "If I moved into a house with my children and smelled gas twice in 5 days, I'd pack up and get out like a bat out of hell." The landlords claimed they had refunded more money, $2,300, they said. But when asked for proof, they handed Judy a check made out to a legal service instead of to Tina. That was another red flag. Judy's sharp eyes scanned the document. "You show me authorization from the plaintiff allowing you to pay anyone other than her," she demanded. They had none. As the tension rose, the courtroom audience could practically see the outcome forming. Judge Judy was piecing the story together. The gas leaks, the lack of safety, the missing money. And now a mysterious check made out to some shady online legal service that Tina had never authorized. Apparently, Tina had once contacted a paralegal she found online for $75, who promised to send her tenant rights paperwork. The landlords, in their confusion, mistook that for Tina's lawyer and sent part of her refund to that person instead. "So you got scammed by those people," Judy told them bluntly. "Sue them, but not her." When Mr. Mejia tried to interrupt again, Judy slammed her hand on the bench. "Do not say another word to me." The courtroom froze. By the time it was over, the verdict was clear and final. "Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,838, she declared. "That's all." The gavel dropped like thunder. The case was done. Outside the courtroom, Tina felt a wave of relief. It wasn't just about the money, it was about justice. She had been terrified, dismissed, and nearly cheated. But in that courtroom, she was heard. For once, someone with power looked at her situation and said, "You were right." Meanwhile, the Mejias still tried to play the victims. "Actually, I'm the victim here," Mr. Mejia mumbled to the cameras. "She should have paid for damages." But his words sounded hollow. Tina's closing statement said it all. "They could have killed me. I could have lit a candle and blown up the whole neighborhood. That wasn't drama, it was truth." In the end, Judge Judy's courtroom wasn't just a stage for arguments. It was a mirror reflecting something real. How often ordinary people are forced to fight just to be treated fairly. Tina's story wasn't about greed or revenge. It was about one woman's right to safety, honesty, and dignity. And it was about accountability. Because when you rent someone a place to live, you owe them a home that won't put their life at risk. That smell of gas, the one that started it all, wasn't just the sign of a leak. It was a warning that something bigger was broken. Responsibility.